Everyone, welcome to Teaching Learning Parenting Show, a show that gives a voice to the teachers, learners, and parents. Today, we're going to be looking at the role of a teacher, parent, and learner in order to combat bullying in schools. Also, we're going to be comparing the rate of bullying in government school with that of private school. Before we continue, kindly subscribe to the Teaching Learning Parenting Show channel, turn on your notification button, like our videos, and drop your comments. Thank you. I am Monica, and I am your host. The winners. This afternoon, we're going to be talking about facing the reality of bullying in schools. And I have two areas I want to look into. The first one I want to look into is the role of the teacher, the parent, and the learner to combat bullying in schools. Then I also want to look into the differences between bullying in government school and bullying in private school, which has a higher chance. Is it the government school that has a higher chance of the children facing bullying or the private school? So these are the key topics we want to look into this afternoon. My name is Monica and I'm your host. Good afternoon, IK. Good afternoon, Gregory. Welcome to the show. Hello, IK. Are you still with us? Okay. I guess he's trying to settle himself. Okay, good afternoon, Gregory. Can you hear me? All right. They're trying to connect. Hello, good afternoon, Gregory.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Hello, yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me? Hello, good afternoon.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Because I can hear you. Okay, hello, Gregory. Can you hear me? Hello, Gregory. Can't hear you. Okay. I think you should check your. Hello, IK. Can you hear me? Hello, IK. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Beautiful.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear. Okay, so Gregory is also here with us. Gregory, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. My network is.
Okay, okay.
My network is.
Okay, but you're audible enough. I can hear you.
I can hear you. I can hear
All
you.
right.
I'm
So,
working on my network. I can hear you.
okay, all right. So we're looking at facing bullying in schools, and how can we combat this bullying? How can we, try to work on our children to deal with bullying? It's like facing the reality of it. At times we shy away from the fact that kids could be bullied at school, from primary through secondary and university. But it's a reality now. Like we see it happening, and it has gotten to the point where kids could die through bullying. And so it's time everyone took his or her own safety into his or her hands. So we're looking at facing the reality of bullying. And so we want to hear from your own angle what your take is on this. Oh, I lost him.
Okay.
All right, so I'm listening.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good
My
afternoon.
name is Okade Ikechuku. I'm a teacher.
Okay.
So I actually want to talk about the role of teachers, learners, and parents to combat bullying in schools today. That's what I'll be sharing. The role we play. And first and foremost, we should understand that The family is the first parent that the child will talk to. The family, the parents, the father and the mother. Yes.
Yeah.
At least from the first 0 to 12 years or at first 0 to 3 years before the child starts school, the family is the first point that grooms the child. Then from 3 to 12 years, the child then the child learns more by looking at what the parents do, what the teachers do. So you can imagine having a very caring parent at home. That child will grow up in love. Yes, that child will grow up in love. See the child sees what the parent does, everything the parent does, how the parent does those things. The child learns faster by just looking. That's why some of all these, that's why in schools we kick against abusive homes, we kick against single parenting as much as we can. We try to advise that, okay, why not stay with your grandparents? At least let the child have the balance growing up.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
are you there?
Yes, I'm listening to you. So if I can get it right, like when you mean single parenting, because you know that at times it's not anyone's fault that this child ends up with a single parent. Now it could be a case of death. It could be a case of the fact that the father and the mother couldn't actually stay up together again and they had to split. You know. But for me, even if it has to do with single parenting, I feel that even though father and mother are divorced, they can still come together to give that child the best they can, because I've seen a case where a mother is the one who has the custody of the child. But every single function of this child, you will see the father and the mother there. They're no longer together. The father has remarried. The mother is just raising the kid alone in her own home. But the father is always involved, you know. So in that aspect, well, you won't really say it's single parenting because they're both involved actually, even though the child lives with the mother alone. So I don't know if you're looking at that too as a factor. I don't know. Okay, are you still with me? Okay. Greg says it's having network issues. Okay. Okay. I guess it's left. Yes.
Hello?
Hello, Ike. Are you still with me? Hello, Ike.
I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Hello? I can't.
I can hear
Yeah, I
you.
can hear you now.
Okay, so go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Okay, so we said, okay, we can say that one of the factors is the parents. Another factor that also contributes to bullying is another influencing factor is also their peers, their friends.
Okay.
Yes, because you take for instance, a quiet child goes to a school that is being strict. Let's say bullies, or let's say putting a child that is not up to the age in a particular class.
Yes.
Let's say J form, for instance, you have two children that are 14, 15 years that are so big. Then you see a child of 10 years in that same class with that child of 15 years, and those ones that are older tend to bully that child. They tend to feel that, okay, this one should be the small boy in the class.
Very
This one
true.
should be the one going on errands in the same class. And yet they are classmates.
Mm,
So
very
you see,
true.
this is another factor that causes bullying in schools. And if that child is not able to speak up, then the child will just become timid and the child will become into himself at that point in time.
Yeah.
So those children that are very outspoken, when they tend to mix up with bullies, or they tend to mix up with those that are aggressive in class.
That's true. Yes, I can hear you. I guess that was his network. Um, he's still here, but okay. Okay, so what Ike has been trying to make us understand is that in order to combat this bullying, because he was looking at the role of, we're looking at the role of teachers, the role of the parents, and the role of the learner themselves. And so Mr. Ike has started with the role of the parents, okay, saying that the parents should, the home or the family is the first school for a child. I mean, and as such, there should be a proper parenting. Okay, like last week we talked about parenting style and what each parenting style is about and the outcome of the child. Okay, based on the parenting style rather, which is being practiced in their homes. Now, after looking at that, Mr. Ike is now making us understand that parenting, when a child is well brought up, there won't be a case of the child being a bully to someone else. Okay, so and then the child learned by observation. They said from 0 to 3 years old, whatever the child sees a parent do is what the child also does. So we say children learn by observation. They don't just do what you say they should do. Don't do this because you just said so. So the child will know. You might say don't do this, and you're doing something contrary to what you've asked the child not to do. The child would rather not listen to you, but do what exactly he or she sees you do. So he's making us understand that children learn by observation, and as such, what you do, you should take into consideration, knowing fully well that the kids are watching you, observing, and are emulating you. So that was so far what Mr. Okade said, and so we've got him back again. His network was fluctuating. So, hello, Mr. Ake, can you hear me? Okay, one is trying to connect. So, looking at it, we said the role of the parent, the role of the teacher, and then the role of the learner, because everyone has a role to play. You can't tell me that when you're talking about bullying, it's only the parent. Okay, so the parent should teach the child and all that, so that those children don't become bullies in school. Okay, yes. What if in the end, because like I keep saying that you can, as long as we live in this world, we have the good, we have the bad, and then we have the ugly. So most of the time, what we teach our children is to learn how to manage themselves in the world we found ourselves. So we can't keep, you know, hiding, shielding our children from these things, because one day they will still be forced to move out of their comfort zone or the four walls of their home and face these people. So we're teaching them how to survive in the world where there are bullies everywhere. So when we're teaching parents or talking to parents and encouraging them to train their children well so that they don't become bullies out there, we're also teaching other children who are faced with such bullies how to react, how to act in the face of being bullied and all that. And so we're looking at the role of the teacher too and the role of the learner, not just the parent. So, Mr. Ike, do we still have you here? Mr. Ike, do we have you here? So you gave us a lowdown of parenting and how parenting a better parenting actually can help combat bullying. Okay, so like from what I heard you say, you were saying that the child learns first from the parent because the family is the first school. You know, is the first place where a child starts to learn. Okay, so you made us understand that from 0 to 3 years, kids tend to be in the home and observe their parents, and then through observation, they learn to do the things they see their parents do. So we're now looking at, you talked about the role of the parents. We said the role of the parent, the role of the teacher, and the role of the learner, because everyone has a role to play in
Yeah.
order to work hand in hand to combat bullying. So let's look at the role of teacher. For you, what role do you think a teacher needs to play? Because I was having a chat this morning, and then the teacher was telling me that everything is always the teacher is not doing this, the teacher is not doing that, the teacher does not get this right. And so why are we always saying the teacher? So that's why I said, okay, apart from the parents, let's also hear the role a teacher has to play. Because I think it's necessary that we all know, you know, that everyone has a role to play. It's just like saying we want to make the world a better place, we want to change the world. It can't just start with just one person. Everyone has a role to play in making the world a better place. So we want to see what role does a teacher have to play to combat bullying in schools.
Okay, so the teacher, we can say that the teacher plays, as much as the learner plays a major role, the parent plays a major role, the teacher also plays a major role. Now,
Okay.
not just the teacher, but also the school management.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. I'm listening.
Okay, so one of the roles the teacher plays is by when a teacher is in a class, let's say a class teacher for instance, I myself am a class teacher.
Okay.
I take note of those students that are very active, those students that are eager to learn and they are active. And I make sure these students, I just take note of the categories of students I have in the class. In every class, yes, we must have students that are mature, students that are from different homes, students that tend to, they just tend to be, they look like bullies. Some might not really be bullies, but they just look it. And for the main fact of them looking it, me as a teacher, I have to keep an eye, special eye on that child. I have to be close to that child to monitor that child. Because if the child has such tendencies, any little thing the child does, I have to scold the child at least or punish the child so that the child will know that this particular path he's trying to do is not the right path. So we teachers have to actually know the kind of students we have and arrange them as such. You can't bring a very slow learner and put with a bully. The child won't be active, the child won't learn fast.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Um,
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. John. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually been listening to the show.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
I've actually been listening to the show for a while, and what comes to my mind is the recent case of Dowen College and all that.
Beautiful.
Sometimes some of these things is due to negligence of both the teacher and the parents. Because, like you said, there's supposed to be a synergy within the teachers and the parents. And then mostly for kids in boarding school where they don't get to see their parents until after they come back. There is a serious gap because the parents don't get to know who their children really
are. And you're saying now that these bullies, when they are also afraid, yes, you can't dispute that. But do you think that this is just way beyond that? Because I don't know. I'm feeling as if you are saying that these bullies are just, it's not what you think. They're just threatening someone who could make someone's mouth feel like that. Do you think these people don't have the resources to really kill as they pose the threat? Do you think so? Because from what I can see, before the brother got bullied.
to learn how to stand up to them and then to go straight to some adult, either a teacher or a parent or somebody you trust, to tell them about what's going on. That will go a long way in helping to curb this bullying. Because I used to be a victim of bullying when I was in school. I just told myself one day that either this I stand up to this person or I keep running on my life. And the moment I started that, I started earning my attendance. Those bullies naturally built up and they even became my friend. They reached them and back. So
Wow.
I think that's another way of bullying these learners to know that most times all these people that bully you are not even as strong as you. It's just because you are afraid of them. That's why they are trying.
Yes, yes.
That's what
The
how I
fear,
feel.
yes, the fear is what makes them try. But now, the case you brought, like the case of the Darwin, I very, it is so shocking. See, the video is so, for me, it was quite devastating. Imagine I saw the boy's mouth all peeled. Thank you all for your contributions today. Thank you, Mr. John. Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Mr. Gregory. Thank you, Mr. Ike. Thank you, Mr. Udeme. Even though your network wasn't so strong and you couldn't contribute, Mr. Moses, you tried contributing too, but we really couldn't hear you. We're so sorry about that. I'm sure it's the network. Thank you. We just have to wrap up. We have to end our show now. So next week we're going to continue with this bullying issue which we've been talking about because we've not been able to actually look at the point that was brought to us as regards the Darwin College child who was bullied to death. Okay, see you all next week. I am still Monica, your host. Thank you and have a lovely week ahead.